Toyota Motor retaining the top spot in worldwide vehicle sales.
Particularly for names like Honda and Toyota, which produce cars in both Canada and Mexico.
Just minutes ago, Toyota's CEO exposed something incredible: the Toyota water engine, a breakthrough that could change the industry forever. Electric vehicles might soon face a major setback. The company, renowned for its green initiatives, is rumored to be on the verge of unveiling a groundbreaking water-powered engine. But can this innovative technology truly stand up against the entire electric vehicle industry, potentially rendering it obsolete? Get ready to discover how this groundbreaking approach could reshape the future of eco-friendly transportation in ways you never expected. The rise of water-powered cars. It might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but one automaker has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to new technology. They've already made great progress in green car tech, like the hydrogen-powered Mirai and their 1.6 and liter 3-cylinder hydrogen engines. But this new development could be the biggest one yet. And just when we thought they had reached their best, rumors are spreading about a new invention that could change everything in the car industry. If these rumors are true, could electric vehicles face a challenge no one expected? The truth is closer than you think, but we'll reveal it soon enough. The idea of a water-powered engine isn't exactly new. It's been talked about in universities and small experimental setups for years, but no major car company has ever been able to make it practical, reliable, or ready for everyday use. However, with a massive research team and skilled engineers, they might just be the first to bring this groundbreaking idea to life for the masses. But what sets their water-powered engine apart? The key difference is that this engine uses electrolysis, a process that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, built directly into the engine system. This process creates a self-sustaining cycle. Unlike traditional hydrogen cars that need big, heavy tanks to store hydrogen, their design would only need a small water tank with electrodes. When electricity is applied, the water is split into hydrogen and oxygen right there on the spot. This means there's no need to store hydrogen in a separate tank, making the engine design simpler and more compact. This all sounds promising, but here's the catch. Making this technology work on a large scale is no easy task. Once the hydrogen is separated, it's sent directly into the engine's combustion chamber. Here, it burns in a way very similar to how compressed natural gas burns. The whole system is compact and efficient, avoiding the need for large, complicated refueling stations or extra storage space. The environmental benefits of this method are impressive and could greatly reduce our impact on the planet. It produces almost no harmful emissions, making it a strong competitor to modern electric cars. On top of that, it doesn't rely on mining rare earth metals for batteries or the oil used in regular engines. This is what sustainable transportation could look like in the future. Beyond its green advantages, the engine is also incredibly easy for people to use. Instead of complicated refueling or recharging systems, a vehicle with this engine just needs distilled water, which is easy to find. This is a big difference from the difficulties of charging electric cars or refueling hydrogen vehicles, especially in places where the infrastructure isn't well developed yet. The positive environmental impact of this engine is huge. It produces almost no pollutants, rivaling electric cars, but with the added bonus of simple refueling using water. This engine also avoids the challenges faced by both electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles when it comes to infrastructure. Even better, this engine helps reduce the damage caused by oil drilling and mining for rare earth metals. These activities are well known for causing serious pollution and harming local water and soil quality. Compared to other hydrogen combustion engines and fuel cell electric vehicles, this water-powered engine stands out for being much more eco-friendly. Storing water is both easy and cheap, unlike the more complicated alternatives. But here's the interesting part. This isn't the biggest benefit yet. Hydrogen fuel, while very powerful, needs strong and well-protected tanks, which can be expensive. This type of gas is hard to keep contained and can leak through even the smallest crack, meaning it requires constant attention and frequent maintenance. On the other hand, a car that runs on water could use something as simple as a plastic jug to hold its fuel. Storing hydrogen separately from the car also brings its own problems because it needs specific temperatures and strong, airtight containers to prevent leaks. Water, however, is easy to find in stores, and with some simple science, you can even make it at home. The high costs of producing and storing hydrogen have slowed down its use, making it more expensive for consumers and raising doubts about whether it's really a practical fuel for the future. But the idea of cars running on water, which sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, is actually becoming a real option for everyday driving. Some people might think these water-powered engines are weak, but they can be just as strong as regular petrol engines and might even produce more energy, up to 3 times as much. Another big advantage is safety. Since there's no highly flammable fuel, there's a much lower risk of fire or explosions. The designs for water engines are simple and easy to manage, making them a cheaper and more flexible option compared to regular petrol engines. They also cost less to produce than electric or hydrogen-powered cars. This is especially appealing for countries that don't have a lot of oil. For example, an Iranian scientist, Aladdin Qasemi, converted his Peugeot 405 to run on water, showing how this idea could work in places where oil is either limited or expensive. These engines have the potential to produce even more power. Water-powered engines could create up to 600% more energy compared to traditional fuels. This means there is a huge opportunity for improvement in efficiency, and we're only scratching the surface of what's possible. Qasemi's groundbreaking experiments have shown that running cars on water isn't just possible, but surprisingly practical too. In a time when gas prices keep going up, his water-powered engines are becoming a symbol of efficiency. For example, his modified sedan can get between 30 and 40 miles per gallon using water. That's actually better than the regular gas-powered version of the same car. These results give us a peek into a future where driving a car could be much cheaper, using water instead of gasoline. Even though this technology is still new, water-powered engines show a lot of potential. But like with any new technology, there are big challenges ahead before we see it everywhere. One of the main concerns is safety, especially when thinking about past issues with hydrogen-powered cars. However, improvements in making hydrogen engines safer suggest that water-powered cars could be made just as safe. Storing hydrogen in a stable form, based on water, also helps lower the risk. Moving forward, we will see how Toyota's innovation influences other industries and sparks further advancements. Challenges, innovations, and future prospects. On top of that, these engines have another benefit. They seem to be more reliable. Since they have fewer moving parts and electronics than electric vehicles, there's less that could go wrong. And if something does go wrong in the process that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, a simple fix could be to carry a backup hydrogen tank. While Toyota hasn't added this feature yet, they might include it in future designs. Plus, because these engines are simpler, they could cost less to maintain, which gives people another reason to consider water-powered cars as a smart, money-saving option. Before water-powered cars can become widely available, there are still some key technical issues to overcome. Even though the concept is promising, researchers need to find ways to improve efficiency and make the technology more affordable for everyday consumers. At this stage, the cost of developing water-powered engines is still high, and the infrastructure to support them, like hydrogen fueling stations, just isn't in place yet. Still, these challenges don't mean that the dream of water-powered cars is out of reach. The journey to developing engines that use water as fuel is a fascinating story filled with innovation, experimentation, and a strong commitment to protecting the environment. It all started with work on hydrogen, which eventually led to the impressive water-cooled engine technology. The company has always been a leader in hybrid and hydrogen vehicle development. Its focus on finding new energy sources was highlighted in 2015 when it introduced the Mirai, the first hydrogen-powered electric car to be mass-produced worldwide. This car only gives off water vapor as exhaust, which was a huge step toward making cars more eco-friendly. The concept was simple but game-changing. Use hydrogen to create electricity through fuel cells, providing a cleaner alternative to traditional engines that burn fuel.
However, using hydrogen wasn't without its challenges. Burning hydrogen generates extremely high temperatures, often over 2,500 degrees Celsius. This meant tough materials and complex cooling systems were needed to keep everything under control. Despite these difficulties, the company kept improving its hydrogen technology, even testing engines in motorsports with a hydrogen-powered version of the Corolla Sport. This ongoing work shows continued leadership in creating eco-friendly vehicles that could change the future of the car industry. This wasn't the toughest challenge faced, though. Engineers had to meticulously and persistently refine their designs to ensure vehicles remained safe and efficient, steadfastly upholding a commitment to sustainability, even as industry standards evolved and consumer expectations grew. The development of these engines also came with high costs and technological barriers. Building cars that could handle hydrogen safely while keeping them affordable for customers required innovative solutions. But the determination never wavered, and the team kept pushing forward, knowing that the future of transportation could depend on these advancements. And yet, the story doesn't stop there. Exploration of alternative fuels opened new doors, pushing continued experimentation with cutting-edge technologies that could make vehicles even cleaner and more sustainable. The company faced a big problem when it came to developing hydrogen technology: managing heat. A solution was found by creating a water-cooled hydrogen combustion engine. This new engine is notable because it uses both water and hydrogen together in the combustion chamber. By doing this, it became possible to handle the extremely high temperatures that come with burning hydrogen. This was a smart move because it made the engine work better and last longer. Before this innovation, hydrogen engines mainly used air to cool down, requiring heavy materials like steel to handle the heat, making the engines big and bulky. With the new idea to use water as a coolant, engines could be made lighter using materials like aluminum, which are much lighter than steel. There's more to it. The introduction of water didn't just help with the heat, it also made the engine run faster and more efficiently. This was a huge step forward for hydrogen vehicle technology and demonstrated a commitment to making cars lighter and perform better with this new engine. A surprising new direction in the technology journey could see a move from hydrogen-powered engines to engines that might run on water. The company is looking into using water as a possible energy source as part of ongoing efforts to make better use of hydrogen. The idea is to break water into hydrogen and oxygen through a process called electrolysis, and then use the hydrogen to power the engine. This concept has stirred up a lot of discussions and bold predictions, but the company has already shown it can push hydrogen technology further than many thought possible. Even though a car that runs entirely on water hasn't yet been made, current engines, which use water for cooling, could be an early step toward this big breakthrough. In these engines, water isn't just used to keep things cool, it also helps the combustion process work more efficiently. By combining water and hydrogen technologies, the company is positioning itself as a leader in renewable energy innovation. This could lead to a big shift in the car industry, moving away from electric vehicles that use batteries and toward cars that run on hydrogen and water. But that's not the whole story. While these ideas are exciting, the road to making water-powered cars a reality is still full of challenges. For many years, the idea that cars could run on just water has fascinated many inventors. Some even made big claims about this decades ago. In the early 2000s, companies like Genesis World Energy and Genopax said they had created technology that could pull hydrogen from plain water to power cars. But time and again, these big claims fell apart when people took a closer look. Often, it turned out the technology wasn't fully tested, or worse, it was part of a scam. Many of these inventors ended up facing legal issues. As we look ahead, the ongoing evolution of Toyota's water-powered technologies paints a promising picture for the automotive landscape. Toyota is changing the game. This history of false promises has made things tough for well-known car companies like Toyota, who are genuinely trying to use water-based technology in their cars. Unlike the failed attempts from the past, the company has been careful and methodical. They have focused on improving hydrogen combustion technology and gradually using water to help cool engines and make them more efficient. The slow and steady approach is very different from the over-the-top promises of past inventors. They're working to earn the trust of the automotive industry step by step. But the story doesn't end here. There's more to uncover. Even though many people are unsure about cars that run on water or hydrogen, the company is still moving forward with its interest in these alternatives to gasoline. They aren't just focused on making new cars, but also working on projects that benefit entire communities. For example, a lot of time and money has been invested in building hydrogen stations. One big project is their partnership with the Fukushima Hydrogen Energy Research Field.
FH2R. This project uses renewable energy to create hydrogen, which fits into the bigger plan of creating a world where hydrogen powers not just cars, but entire neighborhoods. The company isn't stopping with hydrogen fuel cell cars. They're also experimenting with hydrogen combustion engines. These engines are being tested in the tough world of motorsports, especially in the Super Taikyu racing series. In this type of racing, the cars face really challenging conditions, which helps show how serious the company is about using hydrogen as a real fuel option. This testing highlights their commitment to finding new ways to use hydrogen and water technologies, even though there's a growing push to move away from traditional oil-based fuels. But the biggest challenge may still lie ahead. The efforts in motorsports are just one part of their larger strategy, and their ultimate goal, convincing people that hydrogen is the future, might be the hardest obstacle to overcome. Their path through hydrogen technology and their work on water-cooled engines is a story of determination, big dreams, and major breakthroughs. Since the beginning, they have been a leader, always looking for cleaner and more efficient ways to power cars. Their water-cooled hydrogen engine is proof of how hard they are working on this. Although cars powered entirely by water aren't here yet, their progress in combining water and hydrogen technology shows that the idea of eco-friendly cars is already taking shape. The shift from using fossil fuels to a system based on hydrogen and water is still in progress. But their innovations hint at a future where cars powered by water might no longer be just science fiction. Their commitment to figuring out the challenges of hydrogen and water-based energy is going to change car design for years to come. But this isn't even the most exciting part. What really stands out is how Toyota is determined to make this future a reality. They're not just dreaming about it, they're actually building the technology that could make water-powered cars a possibility. Water-powered engines are often seen as a step toward a cleaner and more sustainable future. They offer several attractive benefits, but also come with their own set of challenges. As people become more aware of their responsibility to protect the environment, the idea of using water as a main energy source sparks both excitement and discussion. Water-powered engines offer a promising route to cleaner energy and environmental sustainability by potentially reducing harmful emissions to minimal levels. These engines could significantly decrease carbon footprints and eliminate processes like oil extraction and refining, which have detrimental environmental impacts. This shift could also disrupt the fossil fuel economy, lessening geopolitical tensions associated with oil dependency, and providing a sustainable alternative given water's abundance and renewability. Conversely, the development of water-powered technology faces significant technological and financial obstacles. The methods required, such as hydrogen extraction via electrolysis, are currently energy-intensive and costly. Transitioning from traditional to water-based engines requires extensive modifications, raising concerns about performance and reliability. Moreover, the high initial costs of manufacturing and the lack of necessary infrastructure, such as refueling stations, pose challenges to widespread adoption. Consumers might face high expenses until the technology advances and becomes economically viable, complicating the transition towards water-powered engines. Do you think water-powered cars could completely replace traditional fuels in the near future? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on groundbreaking technologies.